A little boy makes a makeshift shoe out of plastic bottles. He then starts walking and leaves for his house. Later, he was walking when he ends up stepping in the mud. He then wipes his foot and leaves. Sometime later, the little boy's mother gives him his school supplies. He then thanks her and says he will go to school. The mother then asks the little boy for forgiveness, as she had no money to buy material for him. She promises that one day she will have the money for it, but the little boy told her to rest easy about it. The mother then says that one day she will have money to buy him a shoe. She then hugs him and then says to him carefully. The little boy then tells her to stay calm as he knew she was doing her best. The mother then tells him to go to school, study hard. Later, the little boy is walking to school when two children stop him and start laughing at him. They make fun of the little boy for being poor. A woman then appears and asks what was going on there. The little girl said the boy was bothering her. The woman then tells them to get inside the school soon and tells the boy to stop bothering the others. The little boy tries to explain himself, but she soon interrupts and tells them to go to school soon. She said the next time the little boy came to school like that, he wouldn't go in. Later, the woman compliments the children and says that class would be history. At that moment, the little boy arrives at school and everyone hears him coming. They soon begin to make fun of the boy for being poor. The teacher then says that he was late, but the boy said that his feet hurt. She asks what he was wearing and soon he tries to explain himself, but she interrupts him and tells him to come in the room soon. He then sits down and the teacher tells him not to bother her anymore. The teacher then tells them to get their notebooks, as they would start the class. A boy says he had a question. He asks how such a renowned school accepts a child who doesn't even have clothes. The girl then agrees and says that she would tell her parents everything. The boy then tells the teacher to take the little boy out of the room, as he would not study in the same room as him. The girl then says that the little boy didn't have any reports and, on top of that, he stinks a lot. The teacher then said that she could not allow the little boy to remain in the room. She said he could only come back when he had at least one shoe on his foot. He tries to argue, but soon everyone starts insulting him. Then he gets up and leaves. Later, the little boy was at his house when his mother arrived and asked what had happened to him. Garatinho then says that his teacher had kicked him out of the room. He says his teacher told him he could only come back when he had a shoe. The mother then says that she couldn't afford to buy him a shoe. He said he knew that, but the mother said she would work hard to try to buy him a shoe. He then says that the other kids also laughed at his bag. The mother then promises that nothing would be missing for the boy. She said she was going to work really hard for it. Sometime later, the mother was at work washing the dishes. She then stops and says she wanted to talk to her boss. The boss asks what it was and says she was bothering him. The mother said that when her son went to school today, his teacher had kicked him out of the classroom because he didn't have a shoe. She then asks if her boss could advance her pay. The boss then says that the woman was playing with her, as she would not do charity for her. The woman then says she wasn't kidding, because her son needed to go to school. She said he could lose his spot. The boss then says she had nothing to do with it. She says that the child was hers and she had warned him when she wanted to get pregnant, now she had to take care of the child. The woman then asks if her boss didn't know someone who needed an employee to indicate her. The boss says she hasn't even finished cleaning her house. The woman said that the house was very clean and that she spent the whole day cleaning it. The boss then said she didn't care and says that if the woman doesn't clean the house properly, she would be fired. Sometime later, the little boy was sitting on the street. His mother arrives and he goes to hug her. She then said that she didn't have the money to buy the little boy's shoe. She then said she had an idea. The little boy then asks what the idea would be and the mother tells him to accompany her to the supermarket. They then go there and a woman greets them. The mother then said that she wanted to ask the woman something. The woman then says that she could order whatever she wanted. The mother then says that they have been friends for a long time. She said it's been really hard and now she can't even buy her son a shoe. She then asks if the woman could help her. The woman then asks what she could help her with. She said she was going to take some products that the woman from was selling and sell them on the street. With the money she earned selling the products, he was going to pay for the product she took and the rest he was going to use to buy shoes for his son. The woman then said that she could take the product and didn't need to pay her. The mother then gets emotional and the woman says to take the product. She then thanks the woman and hugs her. Later, the woman approaches two men who were walking down the street and asks if they want to buy candy. They then say they didn't want it and leave. She thanks him, then leaves. Later, she approaches another man and asks if he wants to buy candy. He then says that he was out of money but wishes her good luck. She then speaks to a man who was sitting on the street. She asks if he would be interested in buying candy to help her son buy shoes. He said that unfortunately he was out of money, but he wished them both good luck. The little boy then asks his mother if they won't be able to sell any candy. She tells him to take it easy and that everything will be fine. Later, she talks to a woman and asks if she could help her. The woman said she didn't want to, but the mother insisted and said her son really needed to buy shoes so he could study. The woman then takes a bill of money and tells her mother that she could keep the money. The mother then gets very happy and asks if she was really going to do that. The woman then says yes and that she wouldn't need to take the candy. She said the mother could have them. Later, the mother apologizes to her son as she had not come up with all the money she needed. The little boy said it was all right. The mother then promises her son that she would be able to buy shoes for him, but he said that everything was fine and asked to leave as his feet were hurting. Later, the two were at school and the mother tells him to take advantage of the fact that there was no one and go in and sit in the last chair. Because that way no one would notice that he was without shoes. Later, the two children arrive in the classroom. They sit in the first chairs and don't say anything to the little boy. Later, the teacher arrives in the classroom. She then greets the students and asks how they were doing. They then compliment the teacher. The teacher then calls the country boy to the front of the room. He then gets scared and asks her not to kick him out of the classroom. She then asks him to go to the front of the room. He then goes and asks what he had done. She said he hadn't done anything, and she wanted to apologize for the way she had treated him. The little boy then said he was going to tell his story. He says that his mother worked a lot to try to buy him a shoe, as they did not have a good financial condition and it was even difficult to get food. She then says that they really regretted having treated the boy that way, as they didn't know about his condition. She then said that his colleagues wanted to apologize to him. The boy then says he was very sorry for what he had done. He apologizes to the little boy for the way he had treated him. The girl then apologizes and says that she didn't know how difficult the little boy's situation was. He then says he forgives them and hugs them. The teacher then praises the two and says that they had a gift for the little boy. She then says that they had saved up the money and bought that present for the little boy. He opened the box and saw that it was a shoe and was very happy. He thanks her and says that it was the best present he had ever received. The teacher is happy that he liked it and asks him to sit down to start the class. So go to this place and put your shoes on.